What up, homies? Welcome to episode 21 of our Disco Elysium playthrough. Remember how I made that whole ass plan about day 2 in Martinez and all the stuff we're gonna do and achieve? Yeah, well, screw that. Initially, we enter Plaisant's bookstore today to report back to her about the supposed curse of this commercial building. But then our gaze falls upon all these books, and we might just buy one of them and read it to see what it does. And maybe a second one too, because the writing is so cool. We definitely won't spend 5 hours in the store because we end up at the board games pile and buy a political game and then unbox it and then read the rules and then convince Kim to actually play with us even though the box already says one game might take up to 6 hours. Thanks for coming by and enjoy. Plaisance it is. What up, Plaisance?
You're alive.
Checked
and
out
well.
your shit.
Don't keep me waiting now. What's in there? In that dark sarcophagus?
She's looking for the right expression. The dark sarcophagus. Pause dramatically.
Yes. How was it?
Tell her how ghastly it was. You know it's what she wants to hear.
That's actually a cool option. I never thought about just lying to her. It was a charnel. What the hell is that? It was a charnel house of failed business enterprises leeching life energy from this bookstore. Honestly, a dump. Nothing to see there, just heaps of garbage. Someone should let the sunshine in. I am in no position to give out personal opinions. This seems kind of, secretive and mysterious. So I kind of like that. So yeah.
Please do tell. Did anything survive? Have you located the entity?
Oh, it's just options here for the truth. That's all I can say for now. Book peddler. Yeah, I talked to the entity you told me about. Her name is Niha, and she's a novelty dice maker. I guess.
A novelty dice maker? Well, spit it out. Why does she need the dice? For some kind of sorcery? Sometimes they use the ankle bones of sheep.
What the hell? She's not a sorceress or some malicious entity. She's a businesswoman like you. No, ma'am, I have felt her aura. She is not the one to blame for this curse. She may be involved, but I don't have a way to question the malignant entity further. That's the decision now. Do we completely go with no, you're making all this shit up, nothing like that is happening? I feel like she might be a person that actually does not believe any of that. So if we go like this weird middle ground way where we accept her way of thinking about the world or seeing the world with this aura shit and this pseudoscience mystery stuff, and then just say, yeah, that it's there, but this person is not to blame. That's the middle ground. So I guess we're going to go for that.
I don't understand. If it's not her, then where is the source of the doom? How did she explain the curse?
She looks perplexed.
The narrative she's built herself, it does need tearing down.
Says the logic, but conceptualization says, damn, cool.
Just don't say you don't have any answer yet. The uncertainty is killing her. To hell with it. Perchance you ought to just lie, sire. You've come this far. You know how to end it. There is an entity behind the entity.
She says there is no curse because there are too many inconsistencies. That's just the truth. Lie. The source is in the taxidermist's shop. She became involved in arts darker than taxidermy and brought the void spirits down upon this place. Honestly, I don't have an answer yet. There are still leads to be followed, like that strange radio computer thing. There's another entity, more malignant, pulling the strings in Martinez. Perhaps on my travels I will cross paths with it. Yeah, the first one, obviously. This just seems like stalling. These, I don't really like these. This lying stuff that's a little bit too hardcore for me, I feel. The sources in the taxidermist shop, because this will just keep the curse alive in her head. And it's not. She just has to wake up and be a little bit more cool with things and, realize what position she's actually in. And it's not because of some random curse, but because of the socioeconomic realities in the world she's living in. So I'm not really a fan of playing into her shit too much if it keeps her from, doing something actively about that. So we're probably going to go for the first one, although lying would be fun. We can do that with a crazy person. Let's go for the first one.
Too many inconsistencies. What kind of talk is that?
The woman scoffed at you with an audible snort.
Good luck persuading her. Some people can rationalize anything.
I guess. First, you're one of those inconsistencies. As I said, she's a Dalmati dice maker. Her business has been up and running for a long time now. First, you are it.
I am not doing as well as it looks like I am. I only have my Simonese wards to thank for the protection they provide.
As I said, she's a novelty dice maker. Her business has been up and running for a long time now.
Yes, because her business consists of the psychic leech that's been feeding the curse.
Red blotches appear on her skin.
I see that you've fallen for her manipulation, Detective. The investigation is over. I just hope that you haven't made anything worse by going in there. Thank you for nothing.
It's actually done.
Please do buy some books or be on your way.
Aww. She concludes, tucking the pendant away in her blouse. I hope that there was a way to, do a suggestion thingy, or maybe logic, rhetoric, whatever, challenge to actually convince her. But, I already hinted at she probably is a person that can't be convinced about things like that. So we gave it the old college try. I'm not really happy here. This probably has some cool outcomes if we do some crazy stuff. Maybe she even gives us some stuff. But it is what it is.
Wow. Total psychic collapse between you two right now. There was never any other way this could have gone. She's just too far gone into her own mind.
I guess.
I am sorry we had to disappoint you, ma'am.
Farewell for now, book peddler. What about you?
Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here for more books?
Okay, bye. See you around. I can't remember where all that shit was that we couldn't buy here. Let's have a look. Can't remember what.
A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by Wirral-related merchandise.
I want to buy the Serenity game. I want to buy the Wirral game. I really like the idea of buying a game here that might come in handy at one point, although it feels like it might come in handy. We're going to leave now. We know 12 and 25. This is the Helm
The display
Jalaman.
rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular, sword-wielding barbarian on the cover. Nearly all the titles.
I'm not going to buy that. Let's head upstairs.
Shelves filled to the brim with crime novels featuring the supposedly stalwart Vespertine detective Dick Mullen.
We could buy this one Serenity game and this Dick Mullen novel. I like this because this might actually help us be a bit better detective.
Shelves full of biographies of famous people, whoever they are.
I'm interested in that Greatest Innocence book. That also sounds kind of cool.
This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature.
I feel like we should buy one of those cheaper books just to see what that actually does. If we have to equip it to get a stat boost, or if we can actually read it and learn something from that. So either that or the one with the innocence. I can't buy a map here, right?
Several maps. The maps look old
No.
and faded.
So yeah, let's go with the innocence one, because that
Shelves
seems like
full
it
of
might be
biographies of famous people, whoever they are.
helping us with drama, for example.
A true cultural touchstone. Enjoy the read.
Alright. Interact. Okay. Use interact button in inventory to inspect the book. This dusty tome brings knowledge on the history of innocences. It is written by one Joao Paulo Salomao Lopez de Fuego. Damn. A masked fascist. Of course. Who tries to reach a conclusion on which of the innocences is the coolest in the world.
The Greatest Innocence by Joao Paulo Salomao Lopez de Fuego. The book is large and heavy.
Crack open this immense tome.
Browsing through the various chapters, you try your best to understand the ceaseless overflow, the sprawl of names, dates, places, events historical. Most of it ends up as a twisted mass of facts inside your brain. Your educational survey is done. Did you catch any of that? No. Oh well, it's pop quiz time. Let's see what you've learned. This might take a few minutes. You ready?
Sure. Sure, why not? Oh god, no, let me out of here. Sure.
That's the spirit. Here we go. Question 1. Who was the first innocence?
How am I supposed to know that?
Oh yeah, this is what I was made for.
Give me answer. That's so alright, go on. Give me all the hints you got. Sola, Dolores Dei, the Perkinesian. You know, I didn't really absorb anything from what I just read. Yeah, go on.
A pop quiz is a short examination designed to
Okay,
test your
thanks.
knowledge without any prior warning or announcement. Such exams allow the teacher to assess how thoroughly the students have retained the material at hand. Voila. Now blast that first innocence.
What? This does not help at all. Sola, Dolores Dei, the Pericarnassian. Pericarnassian.
Correct. Nothing much is known about him. It's not even clear that he was a he, but Franco Negro presumed as such and called him Pius. He's depicted as a young man with molten gold pouring out of his mouth. All he spoke was gold. It's said he invented God and equality of men before God. He also introduced the gold standard as a way for measuring people's love for Aurum.
Okay.
As the first innocence, he declared that there should be more of those like him. It is presumed his disciples were the beginning of the Holy Party, the founding party. Question 2. Who was the strongest innocence? Easy. Everybody knows the answer to this. You, me, anybody.
Sure, try again. I trust you've got my back. Huh? Vesper Messina, Franco Negro, Dolores Dei. Sure, try again. I trust you've got my back.
An innocence is the highest category of historical personage in the world, a literal personification of history. Traditionally, an innocence, when anointed, assumes supreme rule over the Occident or the known world in general, at least the parts that matter.
Yes, so interesting. But I thought you'd give me the answer to the question.
I can do better. Okay, so commonly an innocence does not enforce his or her power through military power. This is seen as unnecessary. The innocence wins because an innocence can't help but win, for their deeds are inevitabilities. Did this help?
No.
Damn. Great.
Damn. I feel like it's Dolores Dei. We heard a bunch of that name. So if that, what he said here before sounded kind of big and important, and I think we've heard that name a bunch. Franco Negro just popped up when we opened that book. I can't recall her hearing this anywhere. So Dolores Dei.
Incorrect.
Shit.
While she originated many modern institutions, launched several successful expeditions, and was even critical of the innocentic system itself, not to mention beautiful, she is not often considered the strongest.
Damn.
Even though the words most associated with her rule are l'amour, la compassion, la autodiscipline, love, compassion, self-control, which could be seen as facets of strength. Would you like to try again?
Sure.
Just steer clear of this one, okay? There's something terrible about this one.
Which one? The book? Oh, what? What? Uh-huh. Not thinking about it. Back to quiz. What?
Who knows? You feel like you lost her somehow. When she left the earth, the dust, and the ice, and the humans. This is unimportant to the quiz. Stop thinking about this.
Weird.
Yes, the quiz is impersonal. No need to rouse sensations in yourself at the mention of Dolores Day. Who was the first innocence? It wasn't her.
Vesper Messina? No, wait, the first innocence didn't he? Oh my god, can I go all the way back? Here. Correct, nothing much known about him. It's now a Perkinesian, as he was, but Franco Negro presumed as such and called him pious. Okay. Oh wait. Didn't something said first, right there. As the first innocence declared that there should be more of those like him. Wait, what? Never mind, we're gonna go for Vesper Messina.
Incorrect.
Oh my god.
Vesper Messina is not a person, but a defunct state on the southeastern coast of the Occident. It used to take up most of the peninsula before separating into the republics of Vesper and Messina. Care to try again?
I guess Franco Negro?
Correct. Named the innocence of militarism, he codified hereditary rule, but at the same time ended serfdom and established the Inter-Isolari Real as the global reserve currency. He also established the concept of the nation. Franco Negro attempted to solve the rising tensions between the aristocracy and bourgeoisie by building a unified society in which every man has a place and a mission, but at the same time may rise to nobility provided on the strength of his virtue.
Ugh.
Question 3. Who was the false innocence? Got it under control. No problem. Solid on this one. It's widespread historical information.
You're going to be helpful this time. I could use a hint.
Yes, there exists a group called the Founding Party, known as the Holy Party, during the time of the Perkinesian. This, the world's oldest international organization, spends its time in search of either the re-emergence of the innocents or new members.
Sigh heavily, out loud.
There seems to be a mix-up with the sources. It's not my fault.
Okay, sure. So Erno Pasternak, Kedra, Stepan the Despicable. What's the question again? Who was the false innocence? Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna go with the Despicable. No, we had third, second, and yeah. The first question was the third answer. Second question was the second answer. We're gonna go for Erno.
Correct.
Yeah.
There have been a number of counter or false innocences. Some assumed to have innocentic qualities. Some who just thought so themselves. Occasionally, they have the support of a faction inside the ecclesiastic organization, and accusations of foul play have arisen. The most famous and important of these was Erno Pasternak. He was into torture, despotism, hymns, cannons, and world conquest, but got defeated and humiliated by Stepan the Despicable of Kedra. Final stretch. You've come so far and learned so much. This is the most important one. Question 4. Who was the greatest innocence? The most important of them all. The most precious to humankind. I've got it, honest.
Okay, are you sure this time? I'll bite. Hint me.
Of course, this is my thing. The reason I exist in this world. The correct answer is Franco Negro.
You're absolutely certain of this?
0 doubts.
It's gonna be wrong, isn't it?
Incorrect. While Franco Negro built concrete churches and cathedrals, and while many people, especially the Mesk, consider him a father figure. Due to his militarism and nationalism, João Paulo Salomão Lopes de Fuego argues differently. Another choice, perhaps? Oh yes, militarism and nationalism. My bad. Yes, obviously.
I'm gonna go for Dolores Day this time.
Correct.
Uh-huh.
The MESC might see Franco Negro as the father of nations, but as of this century, there's been a great shift in attitude. Dolores Day has become widely regarded as the greatest innocence, a most radical change to the whole fabric of the world. Everything from inter-esolary travel to the connected world to 3 consecutive scientific revolutions can be traced back to her. Every decade that passes, she seems less human somehow and more beautiful. Congratulations on finishing the test. The results and your subsequent grade have been calculated. You get a C, vaguely passable, a solid effort with nothing much else to show. Nice going, mediocrity man.
How was I supposed to know these things?
You would have done better if you just left Dolores Day for the end. Dial the Dolores Day down a bit.
Damn you arrogant book.
What's going on with you?
Thinks it's so smart, goddamn. This book is unfair. Thinks it's so smart.
Okay.
The lieutenant stares at you, his visage unflinching.
You are shouting at an inanimate object, like a real weirdo. No wonder you seem to have trouble with the right answers.
Man, something's weird about this book. You should do something fun instead. Rock out. Forget about it.
Put the book away. Alright, can I sell that shit? I can't. I just have it now. Did that give me anything? I just got... Did that give me anything? Is that a quest or something? No. I didn't get anything from that book. I just got a C and nothing's changed. Weird. What was the point? Was it too cheap to get a skill point or whatever? I'm gonna buy that game down there because that seems like it's let's call it political related. So maybe we can learn something from that.
A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages.
I want to
A
buy
lot
the
of shelf
Serenity
space.
game.
Wonderful choice, sir. A wholesome family game.
The name doesn't sound like that, but sure. It's also interactable. The civilization building board game where you get to choose a nation and set off to colonialize and exploit other cultures. A star-shaped note on the box proclaims the game now includes a complete new genocide option. Is that an Israeli game? What the hell? Interact.
In your hands, you hold a brand new copy of the game, Suzerainty. It's snugly wrapped in a skin of plastic.
I love board games.
The cover features a charming illustration depicting a mass of grinning laborers loading goods onto a ship, while a richly dressed administrator oversees their work. The exact location and time period are left deliberately vague, but it's clearly meant to represent the economic relationship between the Revacholian suzerainty and its many vassals.
Shake the box, remove the plastic wrap, leave it perfect and undisturbed. Can I sell that in mint condition in 40 years? Shake the box.
The box has a nice heft to it. You hear the rattle of individual wooden tokens and feel their weight shifting back and forth. What treasures wait in store for you? Even before you open it, you can tell that this will be a meaty game of grand strategy and complex player interactions.
I love this. Leave it perfect and undisturbed. I don't want to do that. I want to look inside. This feels like maybe someone else is really interested in that and would buy it from us, but I don't care. I want to see what's in there. Remove it.
The plastic wrap rips off as easily as a bodice in a tawdry historical romance.
Okay, nice example. Open the box.
There's a hiss as the lid slides off. Inside, you find a thick, full-color rulebook and more than a dozen pouches of various wooden components.
I just spent time today playing an actual board game, so this feels like very close to home. Read the rulebook, examine the components. Well, you have to examine the components first and be all taken how cool they all look and what kind of possibilities they hide.
You open up a number of pouches containing wooden tokens. There are also several punch boards with other cardboard components that will need to be punched out before you can play.
Punch out the cardboard pieces one by one, check out the wooden tokens, put the components away. First, wooden tokens.
In addition to the worker and building tokens used by each player, there are also several piles of colorful resource tokens, each representing one of the game's 4 principal resources. From the Empire of Sefre, orange apricot tokens. From Ilmarat, the ancestral name of Ilmara, grey marble block tokens. From the Semenine Islands, white sacks of sugar tokens. And from Supra Muindi and Sarah Maritza, magenta tokens for unprocessed cocaine leaves.
Oh, those are nice.
Look who's finally woken up again, Mr. Nerd, back in the game. Let's go. Punch out the cardboard pieces one by one.
Each cardboard token makes a satisfying tsk as you pop it out. Soon, a neat pile of cardboard coins and counters has accumulated before you.
This is so triggering. I want to play a game now. While I'm playing a game. This is very close to reality here.
What? You're not going to offer to let me punch any of them out?
Yeah, I would have given you one sheet of those. Oh well, put the components
You
away.
hold the open game box before you.
Now this question, hey Kim wanna play, makes way more sense. Let's read the rulebook first.
Welcome to Suzerainty, a game of economic strategy for the whole family. The rulebook is sumptuously illustrated and thick as a Gradian novel.
For the whole family, now with genocide. Economic strategy, more like rapacious plunder and exploitation. Keep reading. We got a comment on that.
The colorful illustrations depict cheerful workers picking apricots, hauling marble sculptures out of crumbling temples, and harvesting a strange magenta-leafed plant. Everyone is smiling.
Sure, everyone.
You begin to suspect there may be a political agenda to this so-called family game. Only one way to find out.
Keep reading.
The instructions are opaque at first and introduce many concepts you're not familiar with. Fortunately, there are many diagrams and examples throughout.
Damn. You can tell that the people that wrote this are way into board games because this is so close to the actual feeling and experience you get from unpacking a new game. Cool.
You soon figure out the basic conceit. Each player represents an administrator for the suzerain of Revachol. Your objective is to increase the suzerain's wealth and renown by accumulating victory points.
How do you accumulate victory points? Fuck the suzerain. What about my wealth and renown? I've read enough. I don't like any of these options. I like fuck the suzerain. I don't like what about my wealth. How do you accumulate victory points? Let's go for that first.
That's where the suzerain's vassals come in. The game features 4 vassal nations, each one home to an economically important resource. Each turn, the player collects resources from vassals where they've placed workers. They may then rearrange their workers, fulfill contracts for coin and bonuses, or build structures back in Revachol. As you leaf through the pages, your eye catches on a sidebar labeled Advice for Beginners.
Ooh, cool. Read the advice, ignore it. Just tell me how the winner is determined. Read the advice.
Remember, there are many paths to victory in suzerainty, but successful players will find one strategy and commit to it wholeheartedly.
How is the winner determined?
The actual scoring system appears infinitely complex, with a series of tables and appendices required to compute each player's final victory point total. You skip that part for now.
Hey Kim, wanna play?
The lieutenant looks over the rulebook before he sees something that makes his eyes go wide.
Holy shit. The average playing time for this game is 1 to 6 hours.
Like all good games are.
I'm not sure we can afford to set aside that kind of time for a game.
Oh, it's a suggestion. Yes. +1 intriguing components. Convince Kim to play with you. Are we gonna waste this whole day by playing this? I don't even care. Yeah.
What is detective work if not an elaborate game? You need logical inference, attention to detail, the ability to analyze your opponent's motives.
Come on, it might help us think of more creative solutions to the case.
I do feel like my thinking has become somewhat rigid.
He wants to.
Maybe a little diversion to keep the mind limber is just what's in order.
I like that 1 to 6 hours thing. I have set up a game of Uprising, the Curse of the Last Emperor, which is a very cool game. You can get it. It was a Kickstarter game. I set it up like 3 days back, and I just completed my game and have set up a new one. So yeah, 6 hours. Here we go. Continue.
See? He's doing the hard work himself. All he needed was a little nudge.
All right, you've convinced me. How do we play?
I don't know. Let's wing it. I read the rules. I read the rules already. I'll show you. Yeah, this one. We're gonna play fair.
You explain the basic setup procedures to the lieutenant, who seems to be a quick study. You each take your bag of tokens and counters and unfold the board between you.
Just wasting this day. Cool.
In the center is the crown of Revachon. Radiating outward are her colorful vessels, each one supplying some raw material desired by the suzerain. Apricots from Safre, archaeological treasures from Ilmarat, sugars from the Seminine Islands, and magenta cocaine from Supra Muindi and Sara Maritza. There's also a neat little log to keep track of your progress in case you need to put the game away and return to it later.
Ooh.
The lieutenant goes first. He draws a contract card and moves several of his workers to the Safre territory of the board, and the others to the Seminine Islands.
Okay, so he's going for apricots and sugar. And he also had this little interaction where he looked at the sugar board pieces or game pieces and admired them. So another hint that he might go for sugar. And the hint for beginners said to just stick to one strategy or one goal. So we should probably go for magenta cocaine. If we get the option here, I don't even know.
All right, detective, your turn.
You have a few options available to you. Will you try to fulfill contracts right away or rearrange your workers to maximize production on future turns? Remember what the rulebook said. You'll want to choose a strategy early on and stay committed to it.
Try to fulfill a contract, let your workers rest for a while. Is that the communist option? Just do whatever Kim did. I don't want to copy him, and if I'm gonna be too late now. You have a few options available to you. Will you try to fulfill contracts right away or rearrange your workers? Yeah, I would like to do that to maximize production on future turns. So I hope this is the option. We're going to go for let your workers rest for a while.
What? It's the very beginning of the game. Your workers haven't even done any work yet.
Let them rest anyway. Okay, make them work a little, but not too much. Anyway.
There's no concept of rest in suzerainty. Workers have to work. You produce a handful of archaeological treasures and a smattering of other resources. Meanwhile, the lieutenant spends 2 of his sugar and 1 of his apricot tokens to complete his contract card. He is rewarded with 4 coins and a round wooden token that he places in the center of the board.
That's a market. It's worth 2 victory points.
Hey, why don't I get one of those? Kim, can I do my first turnover? I think I messed up. Glower silently. I don't like any of these. I'm not getting them. Why don't I get one of those? Because I haven't done anything. Kim, can I do my first turnover? I don't like that. Glower silently. I'm gonna go for the second one because I don't want to glower.
Come on, detective. Don't be a spoilsport.
Yeah, I know.
You'll have plenty of chances to earn your own points.
I'm not even sure what points are. That's part of the problem. Glower silently. I guess I'm gonna glower.
The lieutenant returns your baleful look with a satisfied grin.
Uh-huh.
Glancing over the board, you see several possible strategies. Pressing more workers into service would increase your economic output and help you to survive a possible conflict with the lieutenant. Or you could ignore your labor supply and focus on fulfilling contracts for points and resources. Those aren't your only options. You could also show your workers how much you appreciate them by investing some of that wealth in them. After all, they're the ones producing wealth for the suzerain.
We already fucked up the first turn. We're not going to win this game anymore. So I like going down this, it's not a communism route, but a pro-worker route. Let's call it that.
Well, sure, you can do that. It's just not a terribly effective strategy, but then it's up to you.
Invest in your existing workers, press more workers into service, focus on fulfilling contracts. Kim, what should I do? I'm bored with this. Let's finish the game later. Invest in your existing workers.
To the lieutenant's puzzlement, you spend several turns building various improvements to your territorial infrastructure. Soon, your workers have access to clean water, paved roads, and basic hobbies. In return, they produce 1 extra resource per turn.
Gaze on your workers like a benevolent parent. Grimace at them for not working harder. First one.
Too bad investing in your workers just isn't worth many points.
Yeah, it is. Morale points. What do you mean?
Take a look at the scoring tables in the back.
The lieutenant turns to one of those appendices you skipped over earlier.
You see in table 8C that investing in territorial infrastructure multiplies your final victory point total by 1, which is to say not at all. Whereas erecting monuments in Revachol gives you a multiplier of 5.
So you're saying the values of the ruling class are completely divorced from the well-being of the people who generate their wealth. Yes! So you're saying I should treat my workers like disposable labor instead? So you're saying I fucked up? First one.
Yes, precisely.
Now it's the lieutenant's turn to respond. He moves aggressively onto the Safre territory. Soon, his workers are producing a steady supply of extremely valuable apricots.
It's not going to be in that game, but wouldn't it be great if through all of this, his pushing the workers, he pulls a card or event, I don't know how that game works, where they revolt? That would be kind of fun.
For several turns, you struggle to respond to the lieutenant's burgeoning apricot empire. Eventually, you relocate the majority of your workers to Supremawindi and Saramaritsa, where they begin producing a bumper crop of cocaine tokens. You draw a new contract card. According to the text, there's an aristocrat willing to trade a large supply of cocaine for a number of coins and access to a rare bonus. Amplified music worth 7 victory points.
Cool.
You know, this isn't unlike the situation the historical Revacholian suzerainty faced in Safre in the middle of the last century.
Tell me more.
Well, the suzerain was looking for new markets for all the cocaine it was producing, and it settled on Safre. By introducing cocaine into Safre under exclusive contract, the suzerain created an extremely valuable captive market for an extremely addictive product.
That's what I was thinking. That's fucked up. That's brilliant. What has that to do with the game? It is fucked up, but it's also brilliant. It's fucked up.
If you could somehow get the lieutenant's workers addicted to your cocaine, you could not only make them less productive, you would also force the lieutenant to pay you for your cocaine tokens each turn.
Can you even do that?
Yes, you can. It's right there in the rules. You've reached a critical strategic juncture. How do you respond to the lieutenant's aggression?
Rock and roll, baby. Go for the contract. Give back to the workers. Sorry, Kim, you're not going to like this. Introduce the lieutenant's workers to cocaine. Attack the lieutenant and steal all his resources. I'm bored with this. Let's do something else. So we got... we got neoliberalism options. We got capitalist options. And we got the good option. Give back to the workers. It's sad to stick to one strategy. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to stick to the pro-worker strategy. I like that this already opened some shit here, but this is just, corner the market and boost everyone out, and especially this introduce the lieutenant's works to cocaine. Obviously, it's pretty fun, but that would mean that we fuck up other workers' lives, which we don't want. I know it's a game, but it's a game within a game. We're gonna stick with give back to the workers.
Instead of focusing on amassing points, you embark on a quixotic project to win the hearts of your worker tokens. After several turns, you've unlocked advanced hobbies and health insurance. Your workers now produce an extra 2 resources per turn.
Nice.
You do realize the game is called Suzerainty and not Workers' Paradise, right?
Revolution, baby. I'm just trying to do right by the people who actually generate the suzerain's wealth.
I don't think the suzerain cares much about the welfare of its workers. Here, watch this.
Oh, imagine there was an option where if we take care of them so much that they actually start to rebel against the suzerain and create their own new state.
The lieutenant continues his strategy of aggressively producing apricots for export. He fulfills contract after contract, racking up ever more victory points.
Because his victory points won't account for anything if there isn't a suzerain anymore that would have gained those victory points. We just destroyed the whole system, created a new one where his shit is not worth anything. Good.
The end game is upon you. What will be your crowning achievement as the suzerain's territorial administrator? You could continue your efforts to win the hearts of your worker tokens by building the rarely attempted public education system for your territories. Alternatively, you could actually try to win the game by building the extremely valuable victory column in Revachol, or by crushing the lieutenant in a devastating trade war. The choice is yours.
For almighty Revachol, go for the victory column. It's on. Kim, launch a trade war, build a public education system for your workers. I'm bored with this. No, public education system. It's 11. Bye, day.
Your commitment to doing right by your workers pays off, and you manage to construct the rarely attempted public education system. You truly have the best educated worker tokens in the entire world.
Educated worker tokens. Hit me with it.
Unfortunately, you were sent to the territories to produce raw resources, not overly educated second-class citizens. If anything, this might negatively impact your final score.
It's fine.
See? I warned you investing in your workers wasn't going to pay off.
You taught me that points are arbitrary. I decided to play the game how I wanted instead. My worker tokens have a right to an education, Kim. Can I go back into my turnover? No. My worker tokens have a right to an education.
Noble as that sentiment may be, it's not exactly a winning strategy in a game that revolves around resource extraction and exploitation.
And that's why we have to destroy that system and not have it revolve around that.
Now, let's tally up the scores, shall we?
Sure.
Computing the final scores is almost a game unto itself. You each spend an inordinate amount of time making stacks of coins, consulting tables, and struggling with basic addition and multiplication.
Struggling? Okay. Struggling with basic addition and multiplication. Sure.
After double, then triple checking your maths, you have your final score.
Is it going to be a minus score?
2 points. Though you're beloved by your well-educated worker tokens, the suzerain is immensely displeased and recalls you from your post.
And now, rebel and revolutionize that shit.
I've got 20 points.
He says with a measured pride.
Hey, at least you went out playing the game how you wanted. There's something to be said for that. Now, let's clean up and get back to work.
You hold the open game box before you.
Cool. Put the game away. That was super fun. I know we didn't, achieve anything here, but I like what we did here. Cool. We spent 2 hours on that. It is what it is. I still want to either get the detective book or that other 420 book. So let's go for the. I mean, we've got $14. Do we want to? Yeah, I think we do.
Shelves filled to the brim with crime novels.
Dick
featuring
Mullen
the
novel.
supposedly stalwart Vespertine detective.
Of course. Such violence and immorality. I mean, enjoy.
Cool. Another Dick Mullen book that woefully misrepresents the nature of police work. In this one, our detective returns from a trip having successfully solved one case only to embark on another. Does he finally face the taxing nature of his occupation? No, he doesn't even look like a normal officer of the law.
In your hand, you hold Dick Mullen and the mistaken identity. The brittle paperback feels fragile to the touch.
Examine the cover.
The cover features a pastiche of different scenes. In the foreground, a man in a dark overcoat clutches a pistol to his chest. Rising up behind him are two silhouettes wrapped in a passionate embrace. The tagline reads, Detective Dick Mullen must prove his innocence after an old friend is murdered by someone who looks just like Dick Mullen. That seems to sum up the premise nicely. Needless to say, it violates nearly every RCM regulation for a detective to investigate a murder in which he is a suspect.
Are you really reading that, detective?
I guess I am. I really need to know who this Dick Mullen guy is. I'm looking for advice on being a real detective. I'm just skimming it. I need to know who that is.
Good luck finding it. He's not much of a character, I think you'll find. Just a stand-in for the reader.
The point is for the reader to feel like they're solving the crime along with Dick Mullen. A crude narrative convention, but no less effective for it.
Well, that's the point of a protagonist, right? Start reading.
The story opens with a knock at the door. Detective Dick Mullen is greeted by an old friend, Charlie Spillane, who's come to Mullen to ask a favor on this dark and cold night. Spillane needs Mullen to drive him in from Vesper to a small town along the Insulindian coast. Despite his friend's apparent agitation, Mullen does as he's asked, then returns home where he passes out drunk, as he does most nights. An extremely unprofessional and hurtful stereotype that's offensive to all upstanding officers of the law.
Look, I can't judge. Keep reading. I don't need to read this. I'm already living it. Look, I can't judge.
2 days later, Mullen is arrested by the Vesper police and charged with the murder of Charlie Spillane. At his interrogation, Mullen learns that Charlie Spillane was shot in a bar in the very town Mullen dropped him off in by a man matching Mullen's description. Desperate to clear his name, Mullen manages to convince the Vesper police to release him for 3 days so that Mullen may solve his friend's murder and prove his innocence.
The cops release their prime murder suspect so we can find the real killer? Are you shitting me? No way Mullen did it. Keep reading. First one.
What's the matter, detective?
The lieutenant turns to you with a start. I don't know who's writing this shit, but I get the feeling they aren't experts at homicide investigations.
The lieutenant shrugs, resigned to the idea that his profession will rarely, if ever, be accurately represented in art and literature. They're not shitting you, detective. This is what the writers think passes for police procedure.
I guess the author here isn't that guy that's in our precinct like we mused about earlier. Okay, so Mullen didn't do it. Keep reading.
Of course, Mullen didn't do it. That's the whole premise of the book. Anyway, Mullen returns to the seaside bar where Spillane was murdered and meets a beautiful, mysterious woman named Diana Denerva.
Nice, a dame. No, now it's getting interesting. Keep reading. I feel like I've read this before. This is a little bit too sexist. Dame. Let's go for now. It's getting interesting because it's still both kind of go into the Rizzler sex addicted thingy that we actually try to achieve. RPG, I guess, roleplay with this guy. So second one, now it's getting interesting.
Denerve reveals that she was Spillane's lover and that he was mixed up with a local amphetamine smuggling operation. As soon as Mullen begins pulling at strings, the whole conspiracy begins to unravel. Not only is the local police captain in on the amphetamine ring, so is the son of a powerful politician and a strung-out art collector named Torvald, each of whom has his own reasons for wanting Spillane dead.
Tell me about the corrupt police captain. I want to hear about the politician's son. What was that about an art collector? Okay, let's go on with the story. Tell me about the police captain.
Outwardly, the old police captain is a real law and order crypto-fascist, a barrel-chested man who's beaten his share of suspects to pulp. But he's also dirty and increasingly paranoid that someone's going to expose his role in the drug ring.
A crypto-fascist, a barrel-chested man who's beaten his share of suspects to pulp. But he's also dirty. What? That was not dirty enough?
He would certainly have the motive and the means, but the captain walks with a noticeable limp from an old war injury. Is it possible that he was able to conceal it long enough to commit the murder?
I want to hear about the politician's son.
A typical privileged twat. In all likelihood, he's just in over his head. He does bear a personal grudge against Spillane, though, a former prosecutor who nearly brought down his father's administration. The kid doesn't exactly have Dick Mullen's manly build, but he is the correct height, and while interrogating him at his home, Mullen did notice a certain overcoat that looks suspiciously like his own.
What was that about an art collector?
Torvald, the art collector, is a strung-out mess. Frankly, it's hard to imagine him holding a pistol steady enough to actually hit someone, let alone plug them 3 times in the chest the way O'Spillane got did.
God did, huh?
That said, Torvald and Spillane have a long history, and while interrogating him, Mullen discovers that Torvald was once involved with Deanna Deneuve. Could it be that this is all over a sordid love triangle?
Let's go on.
One evening, Deanna Deneuve comes to Mullen's hostel room in tears. The two of them drink half a bottle of vodka, and soon they're seeking comfort in each other's arms.
Is that guy gonna come for me now?
Well, that testimony won't be admissible any longer.
Shut up. How does Mullen expect to solve the murder if he's sleeping with the witnesses? Nice. Get it, Mullen. I'm not sure I'm happy with this, but maybe the story will turn it around. Nice. Get it, Mullen.
As the two lovers share a post-coital cigarette, Deanna Deneuve turns to Mullen and says, "By the way, Dick, there was something else I meant to tell you. I love you." Whatever it is, Mullen never hears the words. A blow to the base of his skull knocks him out cold instantly.
Fuck. Can't trust a dame. Shake your head. I don't really like where this is going. Close the book? What? Fuck.
When Mullen comes to, Deneuve is dead on the hostel bed next to him. To make matters worse, his clothes are covered with her blood.
Double fuck.
Mullen trashes his blood-stained clothes and flees the hostel, knowing it's only a matter of hours before the cops discover Deneuve's body, if they haven't been tipped off already. Fleeing a crime scene, destroying evidence. Even if Detective Mullen didn't commit the murder, he should be facing years behind bars. The heat is on. If Dick Mullen can't solve both murders before the cops catch up to him, he's going away for life. Can you solve the case before the cops close in?
Oh damn. Wait, I've got some questions.
What is it, Detective?
Why does everyone close to Dick Mullen wind up dead?
It's a dangerous line of work, but somebody has to do it. That's why Dick Mullen never lets anyone get too close.
Well, he just did. Why did Dick Mullen become a detective in the first place?
There was never a time when he wasn't a detective. He was born a detective.
What, was I not born to be a detective? But why is he like that?
Dick Mullen was made to crack skulls and solve cases. It's who he is. He could no more stop being a detective than a tiger could cease to be a predator in the night. You're no tiger though, Detective. You're a man. It's your curse to have to choose. For a moment, you cease to read the story on the page and see the book for what it is. A collection of brittle, cheaply printed pages held together by glue made from the hooves of horses. You won't find the answers you're looking for here, in other words.
Why bother solving crimes when the world is so evil?
Is it really so evil, Detective?
Okay, maybe not. There are parts worth saving. Yep, it's pretty fucking evil. There are parts worth saving. We're not going to be doomy gloomy.
Like what?
Friends and family.
Do you even have those?
I've got Kim. I might. I just need to find them. I did, but I lost them. Let's go for the third one.
Yes. They're out there waiting for you. Just over the next rise. Up on Marvel Hill.
I didn't say that. I said I lost them, not that they're waiting for me.
Did you lose them? Or did they leave you? Do you even know the difference?
Says the book.
But then, what does this book know? It's just a poorly made piece of pulp garbage made to be consumed and discarded.
I don't have any more questions. I've got it figured out.
So, who did it, detective? Who killed Charlie Spillane and Deanna Deneuve?
Dick Mullen. Love did them in. The dirty police captain, the junkie art collector, the politician's twat son. So it said that he was limping, so wondering if that actually would have been possible. The junkie art collector was the one that was involved with that woman. And the politician's twat son said he was too... he didn't have the right frame for it, but he wasn't tall enough and he had that coat. But I feel a book like this would not go for any of these three, because that would be too obvious. So I assume we're going to... Well, I can't assume anything here, but any of these three seem too straightforward for a book like that, and it needs a cheap and a big spectacle ending. So we're gonna go for Love Did Them In. It's kind of... I would prefer an option that said a secret fourth person. I can't... Dick Mullen is cool. It would be cool if he actually was the one that did it. Obviously, probably wasn't, because, he's the hero of all these books. So I'm gonna go for Love Did Them In. Just based on the fact that a book like that probably wouldn't pick these three, because they're all just red herrings.
What? That doesn't even make sense. There's never a straight answer with you, is there? You just get hooked on random stupid notions and then repeat them every chance you get.
Okay, book.
Now go on. Find out who really did it. You begin furiously flipping through pages. Even as you know these books follow a series of well-worn tropes, you find yourself completely engrossed. You're turning pages so fast, you don't even notice the ancient spine coming unglued.
Okay.
You try to grab the pages as they come loose, but your fingers aren't quick enough. They're gone.
Where did they go to?
Dozens of pages scatter across the floor. The last fifth or so of the book seems to have been lost. It's possible that you could gather and reassemble the pages, but it would take way too long.
Stupid old horse glue. God, now I'll never know. Stupid old horse glue.
Ah, yes. The problem with mass-market paperbacks. They are not made to last.
Do I take morale damage now?
Perhaps this is a sign that you should get back to solving your own murder, huh, detective?
In your hand, you hold 4/5 of Dick Mullen and the mistaken identity.
4/5. What the hell? Where did the pages go? Put the book away. Okay, sure. As unsatisfying an ending as this book could have managed. And I was right. It wasn't any of the three obvious options. They were all red herrings. In the end, nothing is the answer. Dumb. Alright, cool. It's 20 to 2. We spent the whole morning and early afternoon in this shop. Spending money, reading books, playing games. Alright, continue.